This is the IPSD program for July 2nd, 2025. I wanted to hone in on the distinction between incredulity and skepticism. And I think this is a very important distinction to make here because there are many who are skeptics, especially when it comes to the mainstream. And I often talk about how each side is skeptical of the other, but they're not skeptics when it comes to their own side's claims. Now, the difference between skepticism and incredulity has to do with the very definition. Skepticism has to be, started with suspension of judgment. Like, I'm not going to believe this until I have all the facts. And then there's a process to assessing the available facts and then making an informed decision, judgment on it. Incredulity comes from a different place. It's more of a state of unwillingness to believe something because of shock, or it's just too much to believe at once. It's out of the box, which doesn't mean it's not true, but it's almost a rejection of it. Incredulity is immediate. It's a visceral reaction. One just sees something as unbelievable and just says, I can't believe it. Whereas skepticism is deliberate, systematic. There's a method to evaluating the evidence and the arguments. Now, the logical fallacy of appeal to incredulity is essentially saying this is so unbelievable it must not be true. And that's not a good argument. And that's because many times the things that are true, that are being lied about, are deliberately represented as conspiracy theories or unbelievable because the average person sees others being incredulous. They're going to be influenced by it. But again, the thing is, incredulity isn't something that you stare at it, you think about it for a few days, you analyze it, and then you're incredulous. No, it's the immediate reaction. Skepticism does not have that immediate reaction, but rather a suspension, a waiting period, analyzing the information, and then having a conclusive answer. Like, I don't believe this because of A, B, and C. Not, I can't believe it because it's unbelievable. So this is a distinction between informed disbelief and low information disbelief. Low information disbelief says everything on the news is fake. Gorillas are fake. Birds are fake. Well, I'm sorry, but that's an appeal to incredulity. That's based on your own personal incredulity. And there's no room there for skeptical analysis. What do you mean everything is fake? Like, let's get a little specific here. Some things are lied about. Some things are untrue for these reasons. People believe this for this reason. We disbelieve it because we have additional facts. There has to be some nuance. Now, this came to my mind today because I was thinking, again, incredulity versus skepticism. Because I'm proposing a model to understand media, history, propaganda, entertainment, how it's all intertwined. And in order to explain this model, I've come up with some new terminology. The concept here rests on the premise that our history is being written in advance and executed on the world stage. Now, you might say, well, that's unbelievable. Well, is it? Are you in agreement with me that news contains lies, simulations, fabrications, and propaganda? If so, then tell me the difference between news and history. Is not history just an accretion of news over a period of time? The consensus agreed upon version of what happened. So to my point here, I've only ever heard skeptics become incredulous when I provide them with the explanation for concurrent predictive programming and the synchronization between entertainment and psychological operations in the news. We've been studying this, we document it, we observe it, we predict it. We do have a model that contains predictability, and it's predicated on the notion of the world stage as consensus agreed upon version of how things are. We've eliminated the need to reach for higher powers or lower powers to explain what's happening on the news, because we recognize that the fakery is enhanced by reinforcement content in the entertainment propaganda. You have entertainment propaganda and you have news propaganda, but you only have one propagandist, one source. So I'm making this point again because I'm going to ask the skeptics to skeptically analyze the model I am going to be presenting soon, rather than being, as they have been, simply incredulous. Which again, incredulity is low info disbelief. I'm not an incredulous person. I'm really not blown away by these things and then going to reject the explanation because it's too much to believe at once. I'm like, well, let me hear it out. Let me go through the process. There's a methodology here. We're not shooting from the hip. But anyway, this has been the IPS Deprogram for July 2nd, 2025. We will be live this evening to expand upon this and other topics.